So in dream time, all right, so in the nesting dolls of all these realities, what they're saying is that there's been a major upgrade, like a major upgrade, and the activity that we see going on cosmically is because I started talking about that cosmic activity. That is only the beginning. That it's going to keep building stronger inside, and the pressure and the chaos is going to get even more intense. And they're just bringing this forward so we can do what we need to prepare ourselves for this kind of pressure. And it looks like it's pressure coming from the inside out. So, I mean, many of you guys have control over your lives. You don't have, a lot of extremes happening, but they still happen, right? It doesn't matter how beautifully you set up your life and how authentically you show up for it. Intensities still come because it's all, this stuff inside trying to wake your spirit inside of you, waking these pieces up. So what they're saying is like the level of pressure internally that humanity is under right now is at extreme levels, and it's going to continue to build. There will be some waxing and waning with it, but it's going to build. So think of it like it's like this. Okay, and that I guess they're just saying that to be like a benchmark for your own spirit and your own subconscious. Understand that this is going on. We've all said yes to this wild ride. We all have help for it, but some of this chaos, some of this pressure is kind of unexplainable on why it's so extreme or why it's so, hitting as hard as it is. But they're just indicating that this is part of the ride, and they're confirming my thoughts about self-care is a good plan. All right, so let me shift gears here. Thank you guys for dropping in. So I want to shift gears here and go into extreme chaos, like what to do when your body's under a lot of stress. Okay, chaos can be very good because it's like breaking up old things and creating potential for new things to coalesce. So us relaxing and using our dream realm and all this stuff is very, very important right now because we can start coalescing the new version of ourselves, new version of this reality in the dream realm. So when this gets broken up to critical mass, that those templates can just drop right in. But in the meantime, we have a biosuit, we have a nervous system, we have a life that we need to wake up and walk through every day. All right. So what we need to get clear on is how we need to nourish ourselves. There's different kinds of nourishment. There's physical nourishment, and that can be the form of food, of course. That could be form of physical pleasure, of bathing, of getting plenty of sleep, having, nature walks and forest bathing, doing things like that. But then there's also nourishment in our spiritual world. What in our spirit needs nourished? What kind of interactions do we need to really nurture and hold our spirit and visit those frequencies? And then what kinds of things do we need to nourish ourselves emotionally? I'm talking about things that are uplifting, that bring us happiness, that bring us joy, to bring us food, bring us food, emotional experiences that actually feed our need for attention, our need for love, our need for this, our need for that. Okay. And then we have a intellectual nourishment, which is all about feeding your mind. And this is actually a really important part because we have so much garbage feeding our mind because we have access to this technology. And if we don't use it with discipline, right? If we don't have if we don't discipline on how much of this kind of tech we expose ourselves to, then we get too much of this energy in our mental field, and it can cause us, when this internal pressure happens, it can cause us like headaches and confusion and lack of clarity. Maybe our eyesight will start having problems, stuff like that. So we want to be very conscientious about the kinds of mental stimulation that we feed ourselves with. And then, of course, there is our feeding ourselves and feeding our capacity of creating. So what you create in the world is really essential, because these seeds that we put out, they go out and then they grow really fast, and that momentum comes back for us to reap, to sow. And what they're showing me is that sometimes we don't even realize that we plant seeds of disempowerment, or we plant seeds of sabotage with certain attitudes, behaviors, thoughts, conversations, stuff like that. And as this pressure builds up inside of us, as these cosmic events build, those seeds will grow like popcorn popping, and it'll be just right up in our face very quickly. So there's an accentuation on being clear on what we're doing with our life force energy, being clear on what we're nourishing ourselves, what we're bringing into our lives, and what seeds we are planting.